What exactly was you first selling when you broke into high ticket sales?
So for me getting into high ticket sales, right, I knew what was available. I know what I could make in this space, and I knew that it was possible for me to go and earn big money in this space if I got in the right place, right? There was 2 roles that I took before getting on my role now, both of which I lasted a day at.
Okay.
Because as soon as I got in there, I evaluated the business, I evaluated the people that I'd be working with, I evaluated the product, I evaluated how well it was managed, and based on that, I thought, I don't want to work here because it doesn't suit what my future plans are, right?
Yeah.
So the first of which was selling an AI an AI assistant, so to speak. So essentially, you know, when you ring a business, instead of a human answering it, now it's an AI taking your calls, right?
Okay.
So my job was to speak to business people about this, right? Product itself wasn't necessarily such a bad product, okay? It was a good product that would help businesses, but it wasn't managed well.
Yeah.
And then another one that I got on, and it was advertised as if it was a high ticket closing offer, which there was but there was an element of me cold calling and doing my own leads straight away. I'm like, that's not what I left my job to do. I didn't do that to get into this. I'm off.
Yeah.
And then it was as soon as I got onto my offer now, which is selling a Forex trading mentorship.
Okay.
That I thought, you know, this has really got the foundation for me to build.
Yeah. So what did you say? Forex trading? Is that what you sell now? Yeah. What about that makes it perfect for you?
It's not necessarily the product that makes it perfect for me, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will speak to a variety of different people, okay? So you've got people that are completely new to this that are looking to change their lives, okay? So for example, I might speak to a chef, or might speak to someone that works, you know, a gardener or something like that, okay? Now, the conversation I'm going to have with them is going to be vastly different to, say, the conversation I'm going to have with someone that's been trading for 2 or 3 years that's looking to get to that next level.
Yeah.
So the product itself, when I looked at it and I evaluated it, I knew it's something that people can be successful with. I've got friends that make big money trading the foreign exchange, okay? I know it's possible. I know it's 100% something that you can make money out of.
Yeah.
And then when I actually looked at what the service that I was selling, it's direct mentorship. There's a guarantee involved, okay? You've got a solid back end. Now the back end is what the people go through when they're dealt with me. So obviously my job is to get them on board or to turn them away, really just qualify them.
Okay.
The back end is solid, okay? The community is great. The reviews are great. Look, the whole back end, I am confident that the people I'm speaking with are getting what I'm talking about, you know? Which gives me so much more confidence for my own moral compass as well. I don't want to sit here and, you know, sell something to someone if I genuinely don't believe in the product or the service, you know, because for my own moral compass, it just doesn't serve me well, especially when I'm talking to people about changing their lives. But for me, you know, I've been through the program myself. I know it's a solid product. I know it works if people are going to apply it themselves.
Yeah.
So for me, when you say, you know, is it the perfect thing? I wouldn't say it's like the perfect thing, because quite frankly, I could sell a variety of different things. It's just something that I do believe in and that, you know, I'm happy working and selling for, because, you know, I know that people will be successful if they.
Yeah, so would you say the system aligns with you then, basically?
Yeah, to a degree, because to be successful with the trade in the foreign exchange, you need discipline, you need to be consistent,
Yeah.
you need to have belief, you know, and those things are things that I definitely resonate personally with, because that's how I am where I am now, you know, having like a delusional belief that I will be successful in that field, being consistent and having discipline. And so I would say so, yes, because a big part of sales is for someone to actually pay money to a salesperson, a product, a company, business, right? They need to trust the company, they need to trust the salesperson, and they need to trust the product or the service, okay? If any of those things they don't trust or like, they're not going to come on board, okay? So me being the person they need to trust as a salesperson, that's the controllable, okay? The other two things, I can select them by the company I want to work for, okay? So that's all done. I've looked at it. I like the company. The product's good. I like the company. So those two things are looked after because other people will like it as well, because it's legitimate and it's solid. Then they need to like me, okay? Now, if I'm selling something where you need to be disciplined, you need to have a belief system, and, you know, you need to be motivated, when people come on a call and they look at me, they have to see that.
For sure.
You know, if I'm sat there, you know, I'm overweight, I'm late to the call, and I'm not taking my side of things seriously, why are they going to do that?
First impressions, everything.
100%. And so when people look at me and they're speaking with me, they have to look at me and they have to think, this guy is congruent. He's doing what he says that I need to do.
Yeah.
You know, because what does it make me if I'm sitting here and I'm saying to people, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not doing it myself? You know, it's like a fat nurse at the doctor telling you that you need to lose weight. It's like, come on, you know? So it's that's what I can control. And so when obviously selling that product, I would say, yeah, it does align with me. Because when people listen to the things I'm telling them they're going to need to do to be successful, they can look at me and see that I'm a product of it.
So in simple terms, your offer is a trading course to help individuals. Is it to learn how to trade, or how does it work?
So it's both, you know. We work with complete beginners, actually teaching the basics and then giving them the strategy and mentoring them.
Okay.
But realistically, there's a lot of different courses out there, right? There's a lot of different trading courses out there. And quite honestly, the industry is like the Wild West, okay? There's nonsense at all angles because everybody wants to live that lifestyle that a trader lives, you know. You're in control of your own time, your location, all of these things that people want, you know, the wealth that comes with it as well. And unfortunately, there's so many, you know, opportunists that jump onto that and try and take money off of people promising that without putting the work.
Yeah.
And the reality is this, you know, this is something you can do full time. This is something that you can make good money out of, but you have to approach it with the respect that it deserves. You can't copy signals, you know, you can't just copy someone else. You can't try and get rich quick or buy into something that's advocating that.
Yeah.
If it's something that you're going to actually get results with, you have to take it with a seriousness, which is really where my job comes into it, because my job is to make people understand that. Okay. So what we have here is, you know, a service that will get you those results. But listen to me right now, I'll be the first person to tell you that that's not going to happen unless you're actually ready to apply yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's a structured mentorship that gives people the tools and the resources for them to be successful. But, you know, the tools and the resources alone are not going to make anybody successful. It's turning up and picking them up and putting them into practice that's actually going to make that happen. Yeah. So to actually, you know, describe what I'm selling, it's realistically the complete tool set that someone would need to be successful in the field. But then my job is really qualifying and finding whether people are at the point where they're ready to apply themselves and pick those tools up to be successful.
Okay. So what do you say about people that say trading is a scam, for example? Because a lot of people say they're less profitable more than they are profitable. Mm-hmm. What do you say about that?
I'd say it's true. You know, not that it's a scam, but that most people are less profitable than they are profitable, you know. You have to look at what trading is, right? A lot of people don't approach it with the seriousness that it deserves. This is something that people can do to accumulate masses of wealth, right?
Yes.
But it's also something that people can do to earn a modest wage, right? Now, people will try and jump into this, especially with like prop firm accounts where you can just try and pay to get funded, for example, right? Yeah. People will try and jump into this as if it's some kind of, you know, lackadaisical side hobby that they can just jump into and chuck a bit of time into and get results. That's not going to happen. And a way I kind of structure this to people, because I do hear people say this to me on calls, you know, I get a lot of skeptical people on calls, okay?
Of course.
People will go to university, put themselves in 40 grand's debt, if not more, you know, realistically, like that's quite a low end of the debt people get into in regards to university, to go and get a job that's going to pay them 40 grand a year, right? Now, they're also going to have a boss.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be working 9 to 5. They're going to be in traffic, okay? So realistically, if you look at how desirable that line of work is, it's probably not even up there in regards to trading, right?
No.
People go to university for 3 years to get a qualification to do that, after going to school, after going to sixth form, right? So you look at what they've actually invested to get to that point, okay? But then people think that they can just waddle into trading and get results.
Yeah, first instantly, yeah.
And unfortunately, that's how, like, what the majority of people think, okay?
For sure.
And so what happens is people get burnt, people lose their money, and unfortunately, there's a lot of quitters out there, right? And when that happens to people, they don't like to take accountability. They like to put the blame elsewhere. It's a scam. You can't make money out of it, X, Y, Z. And listen, I'm not going to actually, you know, take away from the fact that there are scammers out there. There is, you know, education platforms and, you know, courses that aren't going to be successful for people. I'm fully aware of that. And there are people that fall victim to that. And, you know, the world's not a fair, perfect place. That happens.
Yeah.
But there is also a very large proportion of people that look at getting into this, they don't treat it with the respect that it deserves. They get burnt, and instead of taking accountability, they blow that it's a scam, X, Y, Z.
Yeah, for sure. I've done a little bit of trading myself, to be fair, and I would definitely say it takes a long time to actually understand the concept of it.